Can you believe it's already been a year and a half? Huge thanks to every single one of you for watching and supporting the videos that I've been putting out. Now that there's over 1,000 of you, I wanted to answer some of the questions that's on your minds and also give you an update on where this channel is going. If you've been around for a while, you know that I cover topics from prospecting to closing and everything between. No fluff, straight to the point tips that you can apply instantly. But sometimes I feel like I'm walking in the dark trying to guess what content you're interested in. So let's do this. I'll share what content is on my roadmap, and you can leave a comment saying what you'd like to see more of. That way you know that every single video you see from me will be useful for you right now. Deal? Let's do this. I didn't hit quota until a year and a half in sales. Part of it had to do with few creators sharing their experiences. I was reading books and blogs, of course, but only a handful of creators were posting videos. So these videos are here to help you avoid the mistakes that I made throughout my career. That way, your biggest problem will be figuring out what to spend your commission check on. So what type of content can you expect next? Well, I'll keep creating hands-on walkthroughs and frameworks for frequent use cases. No fluff, short, practical, and to the point 5 to 10 minute videos that you're already used to. I'll also invite experts to interview them on sales and marketing best practices. These haven't been getting that many views, but I believe that these are super important sessions. Now here are two other types of videos I'm considering adding. First up, we have review videos of tools that help you get shit done better, faster, easier. Secondly, I'm also thinking about recording uncut, long-form deep dives. Think 1 to 3 hour sessions just getting completely immersed in a topic. A video where you feel like you're working together with me. So now that you know these, tell me, what do you want to see more of? Longer or even shorter videos? What challenges should they cover? Take a moment to leave a comment and let me know. I read every single one of your comments. Now let's dive into the questions. First question out of 4. What's the biggest thing you've learned in your career? And there's a lot that I've learned. And if I had to give advice to my younger self, for instance, I'd narrow it down to actually 2 things. One for getting results and one for mental health, because it is an important topic to talk about in sales. Let's start with the results one. When you're having customer calls, you're told to start with discovery and ask open-ended questions. But if you just ask questions that you could have Googled in the first place, and the questions themselves don't serve the customer, but they do serve you only, that can make a customer call feel like an interrogation. It's a really good way to get ghosted after the discovery call. So what I learned in the past years, which worked out beautifully for me, is show that they're better off with you than without you. How you do that in discovery is lead with a point of view. Give them a perspective that they might not have thought of, or confirm that they're going on the right track. And then once you've proven your worth, once you've earned the right to do discovery, you ask these open-ended questions to validate whether you're on the right track or if there's a need for what you're selling at all to this customer. So lead with a point of view, and once you've earned the right to discovery, then ask your disco questions. As for mental health, when you work in sales, there's no such thing as running out of things to do. When you have a full pipeline, you're busy closing it and backfilling pipeline. When you don't have pipeline, you're busy building it. So there's really no good time to take time off. But if you don't take care of yourself, that's just gonna lead to burning out. And take it from someone who's burned out at least once a year throughout his career. Take time off before you feel you need it. There's a Roman proverb that says it goes something along the lines of, start digging a well before you feel thirsty. And as adapted to sales, I would say take a vacation before you feel you actually need it. Trust me, you'll avoid yourself a lot of headaches, because once you burn out, it can take months, even years, to feel like you're gonna enjoy working in sales again. So best to avoid that. Question number 2 out of 4. What books would you recommend to read? Well, it depends on the topic, and what my interests are going to be completely different to what you're interested in. So what I would recommend instead is regularly take time to read things outside of your area of expertise or outside of your interests, because you'll be amazed at what getting a new perspective from a completely different field or domain will do to your life. Whether you'll either find something that you can adapt to your life to improve your level of happiness or comfort, or get a new perspective, apply that to sales, and get better results. And I've done this regularly for the past 3 years, I think. But I still want to leave you with 5 books that I enjoyed reading and had a huge impact on my life in the last 3 years. Book number 1 is Genius Foods. And by the way, I'm going to butcher all of these names probably. So Genius Foods by Max Lugavere. Book number 2, What a Unicorn Knows by Matthew E. May and Pablo Dominguez from Insight Partners. Book number 3 just came out last year. Get it, no brainer. It's Selling With by Nate Nastrella. Must have for anyone handling enterprise sales and complex sales cycles. The book I'm reading right now is How to Be the Love You Seek by Dr. Nicole LePera. It's a psychology book about how to make sure that your childhood traumas don't impact your ongoing relationships negatively. Absolutely love it and recommend it. And the book that I'm considering reading next is Revenue Architecture by Jaco van der Kooi, founder of Winning by Design. Was looking forward to reading this book and glad that it was released last week. So thinking of getting it. I just haven't decided if it's going to be the ebook or the paperback version or the hardback version. Question number 3. Who would you recommend to follow on any social media platform? And I thought about this, but similar to the books I'm reading, your interests are going to be completely different. Your life is yours. It's going to be completely different that of mine. So I'm going to give you an insight into what type of content I'm soloing on social media and by who, and also how I came to this conclusion, how I decide who to follow and why. So first of all, I no longer read blogs, not too much anyway. I also don't consume, or I wish I didn't consume that many reels on Instagram. Anyway, the 2 main platforms I do use today are LinkedIn and YouTube. That's both for career development, staying in the loop about what works, what isn't, and just pure enjoyment, going after my own curiosity and interests. The topics that I do consume are sales and marketing, of course, neuroscience, psychology, anything that has to do with introspection, productivity, and essentialism. And then there are a couple of other things. But how I decide who to follow and who to not is basically, am I feeling better after consuming content from someone? So I unfollowed everyone who either made me feel bad about myself, like, showing only the life highlights, making you think that someone else's life is way better than yours, or content that makes you feel like you're missing out on something. I unfollow almost all of this type of creators. And then I deliberately follow people and constantly am looking for people who are 1 step ahead of me, not 2 steps, 1. And that's an important highlight, because if someone's 2 steps ahead of you, they might be sharing advice that is super useful, but you can't apply it to your life now. So give you one example. If someone's sharing advice on how to have a happy marriage, cool, might be interested, but I'm not going to be able to do anything about it now because I'm not in a relationship. So first, how do I actually make sure that I can keep a relationship going? And that's one of the reasons I'm following a lot of content by Dr. Nicole LePera and reading How to Be the Love You Seek. That's something that I can adapt and apply to my life right now. And similarly, there are 4 areas of my life that I'm also always looking to improve, and that's health, wealth, relationships, and the 4th category is fun. You've probably seen this a lot if you've consumed a lot of self-help content. Instead of going through all the creators, I'm just going to create or leave a list in the description below, let you browse through them. But I recommend following people who are one step ahead of you in each of these 4 areas: health, wealth, relationships, and fun, and limit your consumption to 3 to 5 creators that you can affiliate yourself the most with, that you feel in tune the most with. Why limit it to 3 to 5? Because if you get into a consumption cycle where you're just consuming content and then feeling productive about consuming even more and more and more content, are you actually improving your life? Probably not, because you're not doing anything about it. So it is very important to consume the right type of content, avoid type of content that makes you feel like you're less important, you're less established, that makes you feel like you're missing out on something. Consume content that is from people who are one step ahead of you, from who you can learn, but also make sure that you're applying these in practice to deliberately try and improve your life. And that's what I can recommend: health, wealth, relationships, fun, limited to 3 to 5 creators per each. I'll leave a link in the description to the creators that I think are the top 3 in each of these categories. Maybe it'll be useful to you too. And the last question on the list is, how do you balance work and building a personal brand? I thought about this and decided to give you the long story, not the long story short. So I transitioned from selling to consulting after 9 years in full cycle sales and 1 year in management. I made the change because I've always wanted to go into consulting. I just wasn't good enough to get into any of the big fours. And I don't mind that anymore. But I also knew that I needed experience before anyone would listen to me, because why would anyone listen to someone who just finished college, right? So I started selling. And I didn't hit quota until about 2 years in sales. Part of that had to do with not getting access to content that's immediately actionable. I always had to read the entire book, which took me, let's say, 2 weeks before I could reflect on it and start applying the things I learned from the book. Today, I can say that I've already proven myself at a large multinational company, at a very small value-added reseller / integrator, and also in the startup scene. And the frameworks that I built for myself throughout my career can be adapted to each of these 3 areas, as long as it's B2B sales, of course. And the videos that you see on my channel are content that I wish I had access to when starting my career. On the one hand, they help you avoid the mistakes that I've made early on and get results faster. On the other hand, for me, they're a great source of marketing, because by the time I sit down with a prospect or lead, they've already done their research. They already trust in my ability to deliver on whatever I recommend them. So we can get straight to what their challenges and pains are, what is the impact that they're hoping to achieve by working with me, and what are the steps to getting them there. And because of that, I'm going to continue giving away everything I know for free. Everything ungated. As soon as it's released, it's going to come out on LinkedIn, YouTube, or in the form of a lead magnet available on my website, revenueram.io. I will continue giving away everything for free and then sell the execution. So as you can see, for me at least, work and building a personal brand aren't 2 different things. They're one and the same. My challenge is, what content should I prioritize first? Because at the end of the day, I am a one-man show. I'm my own video producer. I'm my own content marketer. I'm my own business development rep and my own consultant. I have to do everything end to end, and I enjoy it. But the challenge then becomes, which content do I prioritize first? And the challenge is going to be very similar for anyone who's considering building a personal brand next to their day job. And that's going to be an ongoing challenge, because you only have so much time in a day to create a personal brand, right? And I actually covered in depth my content marketing strategy in a separate video, so I'll include it either here or here in post-production. But the main takeaway that I would recommend comes from Gary Vee, and he says, and he has been saying for years now, document, don't create. So you've read an amazing post by someone on LinkedIn, comment under it, add something that you feel would add to that post. Then you take that comment and turn it into its standalone content. Now you have a piece of content that contributes to yourself building the personal brand. Similarly, a client asks me a question, I answer them, then I document it as part of my playbook. So my playbooks aren't just here, though they're also written down. And once enough questions and answers come together in the same topic, I package them up into a LinkedIn post, a YouTube video, or a lead magnet that's available on my website. So the takeaway is document, don't create. And if you do take this approach, you'll be amazed with what you're able to do with just 1 hour a day, every day, if you do it consistently enough. And if you want to know how, go check out this video next where I go into it in detail. But before you do, make sure to like and subscribe, and then see you there.